I want to first say thank you so much for participating in our transit subrecipient workshop. I know that just in the midst of a day, I know that you have a lot of competing priorities, and we do not take it lightly that you are participating with us on today. As we have in previous sessions, this will continue to be a virtual workshop. And I want to also just put in a plug for the survey that is done at the end of the workshop. I want to make sure that you provide any feedback on things that we can do here in the transit program to continue to make the workshop exactly what you want it to be. We want to make sure that the information that we're providing during the workshops is beneficial to you and it's providing the needed clarification to continue to enhance your transit programs. So speaking of the surveys, just in preparation for today's workshop, one of the things that was recommended was that we record the session. So as you can see, we actually will be recording the session for today and tomorrow. In case there are any of your staff that wasn't able to participate, and just for you to go back and listen and review some of the information that was presented during the workshop in case you need a refresher or just may have some follow-up questions. Another thing I want to mention is the contract session. We know that during the time when contracts are being routed, there are quite a few questions that we receive just on clarification with routing the contracts through CATS on the seal. So that session, we are planning to do a separate recording as well as the applications portion. So I will provide more information on the call for projects later in my presentation, but the applications portion will also be recorded. Another thing I wanted to mention is one of the recommendations in the survey was for us to provide the presentations during the workshop to all of the participants, but that does present a challenge for us in providing the presentations because our presenters want to ensure that they include the most updated information during the presentation. So the goal is once the workshop is over, we will provide all of the presentations. And then the last thing I want to mention regarding the survey from last year is breakout rooms. So there was a couple of recommendations for us to set up breakout rooms for, like, as an example, all of the 5311 subrecipients, the 5307 subrecipients, and the planning subrecipients to have like a separate room to just have some discussions on specific items in each of your areas. So we will not have that this year, but what I will ask is if you could maybe insert some recommendations in the chat on maybe some mini agenda items that you would like to discuss in the breakout rooms. And this will help us with potentially facilitating breakout rooms in future sessions. Okay, so moving forward. So I want to go over a couple of housekeeping items in regards to our subrecipient workshop. So there is a separate link for each day of the workshop. So please make sure that you select the link for the specific day. If you have any questions while the presentations are going forward, I will ask that you raise your hand, and we will try to answer any of those questions at the end of each presentation. You can also type your questions in the chat box. The next thing I want to mention is if you're having problems with staying when you try to log in on Teams on your computer, if you're having any kind of challenges with that, you also have the option to call in on your phone. And then, of course, you will still be able to hear the information. I will say, if you, let's just say during the sessions, if you need to log out briefly and you need to come back, or if there is a session that you're not able to participate in, you would still use the same login throughout the day to participate in any of the sessions. And then the last thing is, if there are any questions on the functionality of Teams, if you look in the meeting invitation, there is a section that's called Learn More About Teams. So if you click on that particular link, it can tell you more about the Teams program. Okay, so when you look at our transit program for the fiscal year 23, we had a really busy year this year. So I have included some of the statistical information. So we actually, along with our contract staff, were able to route 167 contracts this fiscal year. And this included a total of $57.1 million in federal dollars, $10.6 million in state funding, which includes an additional 8.5 to the Transit Trust Fund program, which is a new program that was implemented this year. And then, of course, $29.2 million in local funds. So I wanted to just give you a tentative timeline on the distribution for the Transit Trust Fund program for state fiscal year 24. So we are currently in the process of reviewing the allocations. So that is happening now, and this will go through August. Our plan is to publish the allocations during the August to September timeframe. And I just want to mention that the distribution, the allocations will be the same as this year. So just as a reminder, the Transit Trust Fund program is funded by funds that were collected from rideshare fees to counties with existing transit service using a population-based formula. And this does exclude the ATL counties. So we will still do the same level of distribution. The first layer will be 55% to all transit agencies outside of the ATL region. The second layer will be 25% to transit agencies with multi-county or regional areas outside of the ATL region. And then the third layer will be an additional 20% to counties with household incomes, with the average household incomes under $45,000. Okay, our goal is to publish the allocations during the August to September timeframe. We plan to also post the deadline for allocations. And then I said allocations, I meant applications. So we plan to post the deadline to submit your applications during the August to September timeframe. We will evaluate the applications during the September to October timeframe with the plan to finalize agreements, execute those agreements, and send out the notice to proceed shortly thereafter. Okay. So I want to also mention a couple of our construction projects. So last year during the subrecipient workshop, the Greyhound Terminal project, we're really proud of this construction project. It is scheduled for completion next month. So I have included a picture of what the finished product looks like. So like I said, this is really exciting for Greyhound. We're excited because with Greyhound being one of the largest operators of fixed route intercity bus, this is a great initiative, and this will be located in the downtown Atlanta area. A second construction project that we're really excited about is the Albany Transportation Center. We went to the ribbon cutting ceremony in March the 20th, and it is a beautiful facility that's located in the downtown Albany area. So if you're in that area, I do encourage you to go by and just take a look at it. We've had the opportunity to share this picture with the Federal Transit Administration. I think it's also been presented at some of the other federal workshops. So this is a really beautiful facility. And like I said, we're really happy that it's reached the point of completion. I'm sure the city of Albany is also excited about it. Okay, so the next thing I want to mention is our upcoming subrecipient contract schedule. So the call for projects will actually go out this year on August the 1st. And so you will have until September the 30th to submit your application for fiscal year 25 funding. The evaluation of the applications will take place during the October to November timeframe. The notice of intent to award letters will go out during the December to January timeframe. And we're planning to also submit the grant applications to FTA and review contract templates during the same December to January timeframe. Our goal is to route contracts during the March to May timeframe with a plan to have all executed contracts by June 15th. I know this is a really, really tight deadline. This was also our goal for fiscal year 24, but of course we ran into a few challenges. So what I would say is in preparation for your the call for projects as well as the contract routing, once we get to that period, please make sure that you submit any updates to your key staff within each of your transit agencies, because we want to make sure that if we need to reach out to anyone, we're sending it to the correct people. And that will also assist us in getting the contracts routed in a timely manner. Okay, so just in looking at transit here in Georgia, we currently have transit in 128 of the 159 counties. We do have a goal to have transit in 100% of the counties here in Georgia. So we do ask for any support from any of our transit agencies in helping us with this initiative. I do want to mention when the statewide transit plan was completed back in 2020, there was several recommendations made on ways to enhance transit, ways to expand transit, excuse me, ways to improve transit. So we're continuing to look at ways that we can continue to do that. And so one of the initiatives that we have in place is our regional transit development plans. So our planning team is currently working with our regional commissions to get regional transit development plans in place. We currently have them in place in the Georgia Mountains, Three Rivers, Southwest Georgia, and Southern Georgia. And we have 3 that's currently pending in Middle Georgia, the heart of Georgia, and Northeast Georgia. There's 3 additional ones that's also pending, but our planning team will talk more about that in their session. Okay? So the next thing I want to do is I think it's a good idea to always introduce our transit team. We have 24 staff that actually assist us in getting the work done here in the transit program. So of course, starting with me, I am the program manager. Troy Green was previously one of our assistant program delivery managers. So Troy was promoted to the program delivery manager position. We also have Bill Powell, who is our compliance and asset manager. Cheryl Roney is our transit grants and contracts manager. And then we have Phil Peavy, who is our intermodal planning and environmental manager. Frida Black is one of our assistant program delivery managers, and she currently provides oversight to 4 of our program delivery areas. We've recently changed the structure of our project managers. So instead of having project managers dedicated just to the rural side or to the 5307 side, we now have program delivery areas. So I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to the project managers. Okay, so. Okay, so the next group of staff I want to introduce is Carrie Anderson, who was also promoted to the other assistant program delivery manager position, and she provides oversight to the staff that are project managers in program delivery areas 4, 5, 7, and 8. We also have Elisa McCoy, who is our grants and contracts, one of our grants and contract specialists. She's responsible for processing all of the invoices that come in through GDOT. Chip Berger is one of our transit project management support staff. He also provides support on our transit development plans. We also have Mariate Echeverry, who's one of our transit project management support staff. Lisa Green is our transit asset specialist. Matt Wilson is our mobility manager. And then we also have Jonathan McLeod, who's one of our transit planning specialists. Shanae Johnson is another transit planning specialist. And then we have our contract staff. So we previously only had 2 contract specialists, but we recognized the need to add additional contract staff. So we've now increased from 2 specialists to 5. So our specialists are Larry Carter, Latyra Prater, Trayana Culliver, Chantalee Price, and Tyler Houston. Okay. And as I mentioned, we've made some updates in our program delivery areas. So I want to start with our first program delivery area, and this is in the North Georgia region. The project manager for this area is Charnel Dobbins. The second program delivery area is also in the northern region, and our project manager for that area is Xenia Pruna Franklin. In our third area of the state, which is located here, we have Myron Mills. And then program delivery area 4, we have Harvey Smith. Program delivery area 5 is Robin Walker. Program delivery area 6 is Kim Smith. Program delivery area 7 is Algenia Skinner. And area 8 is Kimberly Bryant. Another thing I want to mention about this, I know that in times past, when we had a subrecipient that may have a 5311 contract as well as a 5307 contract, one of the things that they would have to do is work with 2 different project managers on each of their contracts. So by us changing the structure from specific rural project managers and 5307 project managers, we now have the 5307 more evenly distributed, as well as the rural subrecipient. So I will say, when you're receiving communications from the project managers, you may notice that there are other staff copy on the communication, and this is just to assist in making sure that the transfer of knowledge between the 5311 program as well as the 5307 program is as strong as it needs to be. Of course, we also welcome any recommendations on things that we can do to continue to provide the support that's needed to you in each of your transit programs. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is just give you a reminder on the information that is available on our GDOT Transit webpage. The link is included here, and this will be provided in the presentations. But what I've done here is I've included a screenshot of some of the different items that's included on our webpage. So if you click on either one of the links, it will take you into additional information on each of those programs. So we have the statewide transit plan. So if you click on that link, it will take you to the actual transit plan that was created here at GDOT, provide a lot more detail on the information that's included. We also have the other items that's listed here. So please, whenever you need to just learn additional information about things that's happening here at GDOT, information like on previous training sessions, on the transit development plan, any of the items that's listed here, if you click on the picture, it will take you to that information. And then the last thing I want to mention is if you go down a little bit further on our webpage, you will see the program overview section. And if you open up the plus signal here, the plus sign here, it will take you into like information on our transit asset management plan, transit oversight, and I want to highlight the guide. So if you click on this particular page, it will open up the 5311 administrative guide, the financial management oversight guide that we use, as well as the state management plan. We are currently working with RLS, who is our program compliance vendor, to develop a 5307 administrative guide, as well as a planning guide for the 5303 and the 5304 sides of the house. Okay. All right, so that's all I have for my presentation. So I want to just see if there are any questions at this time.